All right, legends. It's time to get into it. This is Hero Makers Season 3, the Laptop Lifestyle Dad Show, the Hero Makers season. And this season is where we're shifting gears. We're done with just learning the tools. We're going to still cover a little bit about AI and social selling and content and funnels and attraction marketing and all that other gear. But here's it's time to go a lot deeper. Here in this season, we're going to explore what it means to lead from identity, to build not just businesses, but movements, and to find the voice inside you, then raise up others to help them to find theirs. Hero makers aren't born in the spotlight. They're forged in the trenches of sacrifice, consistency, courage, and love. They make leaders. They pass the mic. They build legacy. So if you're ready to step up, to rise above the hustle, beyond the noise, beyond making just profit, and build something that endures, well, welcome. This is exactly where you need to be. And here today, I have the beautiful Janice Muir here joining us. And so we're just going to dive in, Janice. And the best place I've found for people to dive in is for our audience to connect and get to know you. And the best way to do that is to get to share your story. So, in 5 to 10 minutes or less, some people can go into a long story, but I like you to keep just the short version. Janice, what's your story?
Thank you for having me. I truly appreciate being here. My story is probably 5 compartments. 1, I was an athlete as a child and stood on the dais in first as Victorian champion. 2 was I had the exploration to get out and really enjoy life and move from Melbourne to Darwin and lived 30 years in Darwin. Loved every minute of it.
Fascinating.
Yeah. 3, I moved from Darwin. No, I then went through the process and coping and managing, and my dear partner for 35 years with Alzheimer's dementia. And that was a harrowing experience. And then I moved from Darwin to Brisbane. And then 4 years later, I'm diagnosed with breast cancer.
Yeah, wow.
And I'm coming up 20 years next year, clear of breast cancer. And then the next thing was my journey in and around writing. And I wrote 5 books in 10 years.
Absolutely fascinating.
That's a short, succinct overview because there's varying points, right? And I draw reference from all of it.
Cool. Well, thanks for sharing. And, first off, from my heart to your heart, I'm sorry that you had to go through your trial by fire, your dark forest, as they call it, the hardship of life. But what I find, though, is every leader has gone through something like that, right? It's the hero's journey sort of conversation. We all sort of find our abyss moment. Like 11 years ago, I tried to, commit suicide. And I'm very grateful that, love interrupted the pattern. And ever since then, I've just been a student of learning how to love myself and love others and love something bigger than myself. And so I want to go into that side of the story, if that's okay. And I did give you a bit of a warning going into this. This would just go many different directions, but I'm actively listening, right? I'm actively listening, and I've been attentive to where we need to go. So the thing I want to dig into is some of the hardship you faced around looking after your husband with dementia, and also your breast cancer journey. In that hardship, what was some of the character building stuff that you walked away from? Like what you went through the hardship, and you sort of found this grit, this determination, this resilience, this character that you probably didn't know was there, but now is there for you to go through the rest of life. What did that look like for you?
If I told you everything, I'd have to tell you a very big secret. And I won't go there today. One of the things I think was, I love the word fortitude, right? Because I've only come to realize that fortitude is the inner strength, knowing, being what we are, who we are, and how we manage things. During the time, blah, 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 you know, I was a mess.
Yeah, of course.
Yet I still had to hold a job. I still had to manage my child. I still had to, you know, get everything organized in ways of doing tangible things. And there is something about the inner self of being strong, as they say, the backbone of the journey, that really is probably what I just stood grounds in. Did I understand it then as I appreciate it now? It took writing out the journeys that gave me the awareness of the understanding.
That's fascinating. So it took writing out the journeys to become aware. They say in Alcoholic Anonymous, the first step to recovery is awareness. And then the next step is taking ownership, right? So it's fascinating that you've sort of did that in your own way. What did you learn through that experience about yourself with going through that?
What did I learn? Oh, there's probably tangents of things. But I think the biggest thing was, I want to say this, I followed through on me. I had all out here, so much happening, and then I would just get into a place and just be still in my moment, and sometimes that meant getting on the dance floor. That's a secret, okay?
Yeah, I love that.
Getting on the dance floor and really giving it my fling, you know?
Yeah.
That was the release. That was the journey. That was the aha moments I didn't know I was having, but I had to have to get the awareness and understanding now.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I've just read the book Happy Money by Ken Honda, and he talks about being grateful for money, even when you spend it, when it comes in. You know, it's arigato, thank you. You know, he's from Japan, right? So this whole concept of being attitude of gratitude and having fun with life and living life full out excitement. That's why I use words like boom sauce and Awesometown and, you know, really lean into the flavor of it, right? But leadership is easy when you've got people looking at you. I find leadership is really hard, and it's, you know, this whole conversation around leadership, it isn't just about what you do and who you are when everybody's watching. It's more about what you do and who you are, especially when no one's watching. So how has character and identity shaped your leadership more than ever than your strategy ever could?
Do you want to know something? I think it's being me. I think it's being absolutely still in the moment. And when the stuff, excuse the expression, shit was hitting me, and I mean that in the positive senses, who in their right mind understands, and admittedly my partner was a few years older than me, so losing him after 35 years was very hard. But I had to come to understand what the hell was going on around me and then sit with that and learn across the board how I led myself forward. And one of the things I used to say, 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards. And sometimes it was 3, 1.5, 4, drop 2. Oh shit, I'm in the poo today.
Yeah.
But I used the latter. I used the latter methodology in my head. That was the only way. Oh, I'll climb again, and I'll climb again, and I'll climb again. Oh crap! I've just slipped down again. Now I say that from a leadership point of view. We watch, we observe, we see other people struggling, but they don't necessarily get that awareness. I got it.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. Like sometimes we never wish the things that we go through on our worst enemy, right? But you come out the other end of it, and you do become grateful for it because it's helped shape you the person you are today.
Correct. Let me put that another way. I've never said, why me?
Mm.
Listen to the question.
That's powerful.
Why
That's
is this?
powerful.
Why is that?
Yeah, that's
Right?
powerful.
I never said that. And right in the middle of breast cancer, losing the breast, 6 months of chemo, 7 weeks of radiation, I never once said, why me?
Mm.
Because there was something inside of me that I listened to the source above, and I got the awareness that said, one day, one step, one foot in front of the other.
Wow, that's powerful. It actually says in the Bible, right? And one of the lessons that I hold very close to my heart is to learn to be grateful for our trials and tribulations. Right? It's a
Correct.
hard thing to do, but this is what we're talking about
Very.
here in this whole conversation, right? Is okay, God, source, whatever you want to call it. We're going through this today. What is it, the lesson that I'm meant to be learning in this? What can I gain from this to build my character and strengthen me? And everything happens for us, not to us.
Correct. Correct. And then from the leadership element, because I've already done that, people, when I share the story to them, and there's variable tangents on that,
Mm.
they get, oh my gosh.
Yeah, right.
And I said, the thing is, they don't know what they don't know until they are in it themselves, and they have to hear it from somebody else. Now, from the
Yeah.
leadership point of view, we lead by example, but not everybody wants to listen because they think they know best. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll let you do that.
Yeah. And that's
Right?
that's
So,
ego and pride, right?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
So that leadership element for me, at the moment I'm in a group of people and trying to keep them motivated. We're all on the same page, but we're not on the same level.
Mm.
Right? We've all got the same interests, but we've all got tangents of this. I grant that. Getting them to even write a testimony about their journey has been like drawing bloody water out of them.
Like pulling teeth sometimes, right? Isn't it? It's like pulling teeth.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I share the knowledge. I then take them on the journey and I just change the whole dynamics and say, we're doing this, this, and this. So I lead them through and they go, oh, that wasn't so hard after all.
Yeah, yeah. My mentor, Joseph, Dr. Joseph McClendon, he actually works a lot with Tony Robbins. He says basically, change your story, you change your life. Right. So, you can change that story, that monkey chatter brain that you're telling yourself. You can change the direction and change your life, and your results will follow. I think this is a really important conversation to go a bit deeper here. And a lot of new leaders, aspiring leaders, people stepping into this space of entrepreneurialism and whatever that looks like. One of the big things that I see that has blocked many, and myself included in my early days, is that imposter syndrome. That the fear of it is so real, especially for people stepping into bigger roles. How do we help leaders work through those voices in their head and stay anchored to their truth, stay anchored to their calling?
The words that came up while you were speaking were not my monkeys.
Mm.
Not my need to be
Not my monkeys, not my
concerned.
circus.
Correct. I don't need to listen to the chatter. Really, that's the box you have to get into. The little that's happening out here,
Yeah.
right, is not your monkey, because you've got to go within yourself and be true to yourself. That to me is one of the hardest things to come to awareness. Now, imposter syndrome, I looked at it, I thought about it, and I said, be off with you.
Yeah.
Those were basically as simple as I could get.
Yeah, I love that.
Everybody wants to go deeper.
Yeah. For me, when you had talk about imposter syndrome, for me, I had to realize that it wasn't necessarily imposter syndrome. It was me trying to perform and be someone who I was not. It was trying to fake it till I make it type of conversation, right? The moment I stopped performing and I started serving and got out of my head and got into my heart, that's where the real Jeff shows up.
Couldn't speak it more clearly than that. This is where my journey is at the moment. I went through a period of trying to coach, and I say trying in a very enduring way, right? Did I get clients? No. So now I've stepped right back. I've reframed myself, and I now come from my heart because I've come across products that work for me. So now
Yeah.
I serve in a completely different way because I'm evidence of the
Right.
products.
Right. So, and this is really important because, like, at the end of the day, this is a sales type sort of conversation. But I figure if you stop selling and you start serving and you start leading from that heart space, all you're doing is a transfer of belief, right? It's a transfer of energy,
Correct. Correct.
and get into that space.
Correct.
I'll love for you to unpack that a little bit deeper from your perspective.
I've never given myself credit to be a marketing style person, but I share from my heart when I share.
Mm, mm,
And I share the story with empathy, with total involvement. And people have cried listening to me, so I know I've touched them.
mm.
Having said that, the emphasis of being able to lead others is they have to be not with a closed mind, they have to be with the lid open.
Yeah.
And that is one of our biggest problems in society, that we
Yes.
have that element of closed mind. They're not open.
Yes.
For some unknown reason, I have this mind that is absorbing. So, give me the question again, because I know I've gone on a tangent there, but that's okay.
No, I think this is a good conversation, but the tangent was going on, like coming into that space of stop selling and just start serving and going into that space. And I just wanted to hear a bit more about your perspective
Yes.
of that.
Yeah. To come into the space of serving, I only have to share it from my heart.
Right. There is no
I
sales
don't.
anymore. It's just it's a guiding type conversation. It's just a leadership conversation.
Correct. Correct.
Mm,
It's not about you could, you would, you should, all of those elements. It's now,
mm,
well, what it's done for me is I've
mm.
felt this has happened. I can share that person's story, or I can share those different elements, and I don't know how it's going to work for you. It's up to how your body responds. I
Mm.
can't force anything upon you because it's working differently with each and every one of us. We've all got to a certain point in life after, in my case, 69 years, right? Other people are 70, some of them are 35. They've got to that place where they're closed mind because they think they've got to go in a pharmaceutical way, we'll just call it
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
when in fact, they listen to what is happening inside the body. The body is screaming, giving you the awareness, giving you the understanding,
Right.
giving you mindset. Try this, try that, look at that, shift that, turn that around, find another recipe, go and ask another question, get more information. That to me is bringing it in a completely different perspective, that we don't have a closed mind, we have an open
Yeah.
mind.
Absolutely fascinating. And I just the thoughts come to my mind as you're talking through a statement that I heard from Mark Cuban from Shark Tank. And what he said basically is creating is life, consuming is death. Right. So very, very
Yeah,
bluntly, and that's a very poor paraphrase of what he actually said, but that's my interpretation of what he said. And when we stop creating, when we stop getting curious, when we stop learning, and we just become consumers, and we just become, for better words, to put it very bluntly, brainwashed, and we just follow
yes.
like the crowd and be sheeple. That is where we're actually basically giving up, and we're on our road to. And I'm going to be very, very blunt for a second. We're either ripe or rotten, or we're green and growing. It doesn't, and age has nothing to do with that conversation.
I couldn't agree more, and I cannot stand ripe and rotten, but I can
Mm,
stand growing, green, expanding,
mm,
knowledge, awareness, understanding. I'm hungry for that,
mm.
right? I
Yeah.
won't let myself go to the other side, because to me, I'm a set of scales if you look at that aspect from the Libra symbol. So
Yeah.
I have to stay balanced. I rise, I tip, I have moments,
Yeah, we all
and
do.
yeah, we all do, I agree.
Mm,
However, as the true Librian, I have come to my own awareness through my journey I am very strong in the positive side, so I'm always looking up.
Yeah, I love that. And positive side to me is just optimistic. You know, like and optimistic to me is always looking for options, right? There are always
Correct.
options, right?
Correct.
So
The opportunities. What is it said by, quickly, what's his name? The guy that flies the aeroplanes.
Richard Branson.
Thank you. Yes, an
Yeah.
opportunity is you don't say no to it, you grab it and work it out later.
Right, everything's figure outable. That's one of my favorite sayings. Yeah,
Correct.
yeah. So
So, as the leader, we have to be seen to be trying new things
yeah, well
or,
said.
stretching. I mean, just quickly, I'm stretching myself because something's come up and showing me I can do that.
Mm.
Oh, but I'm not that smart. Oh, but you really could do that. Oh, should I, would I, could I? Well, I've blown myself away because I've tried.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I've created reels. Yes, I've been inspired by others, but as a leader, I'm leading my clan to see the difference.
I love that. And the fact that you're doing something uncomfortable and excited about that, that's where the real growth lies. And I love that. So
Correct.
hero makers, right? It's a term that's been thrown around here in our community. Basically, what it means is hero makers are leaders who create other leaders. So hero makers are also about legacy impact. So what does leaving legacy look like for you personally? You know, legacy in faith, family, impact, and how can everyday leaders start building legacy now? Because I don't believe legacy is something when you're gone and that's your legacy. No, like this conversation right now is part of my legacy, right? And your legacy. So what does legacy look like for you, and how can leaders start building legacy right now?
Good question. Times have changed quite a bit over the last 10, 12, 15 years, but at the point in time when I wrote my books, that was my legacy.
Yeah.
Right? So I shared elements that were around the values key. There was about parts and things that happened in my life as a way to step into places that I hadn't realized I'd done, and the values key gave me all the steps. Not listening to negative talk, writing out things in a positive vein, getting better school grades. There's an exercise how to do that. The next one was sharing the elements around a vision to win. So this is my legacy. It's completely different. That's my gold medal on the cover of when I was 10 or 11. So the vision to win, we go into a magical spiritual world and we're listening to spirit giving us the idea that we can run faster. Right? The next one being, let me get this off my chest.
I love how you put basically your life lessons into books. It's a beautiful way of really leaving your legacy and your insights behind. That's beautiful.
Correct. So, the coping with breast cancer alone. I didn't have my partner at this point in time. I had a couple of friends, but the majority of it was alone. And I told the oncologist, you can't give me any medicine that's going to make me sick because there ain't nobody at home to clean it up.
Yeah. Wow.
Right? And thank God he listened. And yes. The other one, the last one being forget me not. This is the journey around managing and coping with Alzheimer's in my partner. Because it wasn't just an instant fix, it was a journey.
Yeah.
So the legacy for me is leaving that awareness.
That wisdom. I love it.
Absolutely. And from that point of view, others will have paintings, others will have craft. I also do tapestry, 700,000 tapestry.
Very cool. My mother does tapestry. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, the legacy is already within us. We just have to bring it to our art, whatever that is for each individual.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well said. And just quickly, so where can our listeners go and find your books? Where can they go access them?
They predominantly is on my website. Sorry, I just forgot my own name.
You're not the first person to do it.
JaniceMuir.com.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, we'll make sure that that link's in our show notes here for you as well. But make sure that you go over there and head over. If that one of those books has sparked your interest, highly recommend going and grabbing one of those books. So let's look at wrapping this interview up, Janice, just quickly. And I love to always wrap up.
I want more. I want more.
More. We'll have to come back for a part two. But I love, digging into this question here to wrap up. Looking back with what you've taught, what you've led through, what you've gone through. What advice would you give someone who's listening who feels that they're not ready to step up and be a leader? They're not ready to essentially be the best version of themselves, but they believe in a dream. They have something that is going to, inspire them to get up. What advice would you give to that person?
See, I didn't have that problem, so I find that a difficult question, as you could appreciate.
Okay, well, let's reframe it in this way. Rewind. You've got knowing what you know now, going back to your 25-year-old self version. What wisdom would you share with your 25-year-old self?
In this very moment, I would put the trust in my higher self to be the highest point of my reference. During that period of time, I had a lot of negative chatter. And that was family people as well as some outsiders. I did have a lady in the office who said, Janice, you need to get on a path and follow it. And I didn't know what the path was at that time because I'm trying to go through everything.
Of course.
But it was about coming back and being true to me. And that was one of the things. I didn't know it at the time, but I used to jot down things from a journal perspective. The more you dump out in the pen, the more you release it in a cathartic process.
Yeah.
No maliciousness, no vengeance. You've let it out in the word, and then you go and you burn it.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So that's something that I did do during the journey. It wasn't every piece because I'm a forward-thinking person. I don't look back a lot.
Yeah.
But in that moment where I was at, the aspect of being able to find that energy to be in that moment, release it, burn it.
I love that. And I love that whole thing about forward-thinking person. It's actually very fascinating. It's the reason why I've got the kangaroo as my mascot. The kangaroo and the emu are the only two animals on Australia that can't walk backwards. They're always going forward. And that forward thinking is the reason why I've got the kangaroo there. So a little bit of a tidbit. Yeah, well, this has been absolutely a pleasure, Janice. And I like to keep these interviews short and sweet to the point because, we find that this is drive time. People are driving from work to home, and 30 minutes is that really awesome spot there. And also, people go to the gyms and they put their podcast on in their ears. It's normally their workout time. So, awesome, sweet spot. But I think we're only just getting started. We'll definitely have to have you back for a part two.
You're welcome.
Janice, before we wrap up, what's one final word of wisdom that you'd like to leave our audience with?
In today's world, in everything that we are facing, endeavor to try not to let it absorb you, but you sit open to everything and then go within and follow that. Powerful
advice. Thank you for sharing. And to our audience, thank you very much for listening. We truly, truly appreciate you. This is Jeff Ross. I'm a proud father of 3 amazing boys down here living down in Tasmania, known as the laptop lifestyle dad, or the caffeinated kangaroo, if you will. This podcast has been hosted on YouTube, Spotify, and I've gone blank, Apple. And this has also been brought to you in partnership with the Los Angeles Tribune. Thank you very much for your time. We look forward to seeing you on our next episode, same time next week. Stay caffeinated, stay legendary, and bye for now.